Hello everyone, today I am going to explain about the mechanism of labor. First, the definition. As the fetus descends, the soft tissues and the bony structures exert pressure that leads to descent through birth canal by series of movements. Collectively, these movements are called as mechanism of labor. There are three principles. First one, descent takes place throughout the labor. Second one, whichever part leads and first meets the resistance of the pelvic floor will rotate anteriorly until it comes under the symphysis pubis. Third principle, whichever part comes under the symphysis pubis will pivot around the pubic bone. We'll show this is the maternal pelvis and this is the fetus, and you have to hold the fetus in this way so that the hands are flexed, knees are flexed, thighs are flexed and head is flexed. So this is the position of fetus in utero. Okay, and you have to hold the baby like this in the pelvis. Okay, so the first principle is descent takes place throughout the labor. Whichever part leads and first meets the resistance of the pelvic floor will rotate anteriorly until it comes under the symphysis pubis. Whichever part comes under the symphysis pubic will pivot around the pubic bone. Now, the description of normally situated fetus. The lie is longitudinal, presentation is cephalic, the position is LOA or ROA, that is left occipito-anterior or right occipito-anterior. The attitude is good flexion or universal flexion, the denominator is occiput and presenting part is posterior part of the anterior parietal bone. Okay, mainly there are 7 movements. First one is descent, second one is flexion, third one is internal rotation of the head, fourth one is extension of the head, fifth one is restitution, sixth one is internal rotation of the shoulders, and seventh one is lateral flexion. So first one is descent. Descent takes place throughout the labor. Descent in the nulliparous woman usually occurs in the later week of pregnancy, whereas in the multiparous woman it occurs just before the onset of labor as the muscles are more relaxed. Okay, so because of the contraction and retraction, the fetal descent occurs in the first stage of labor. So because of the contraction and retraction, the uterus provides less room for the fetus. That leads to further descent. The second step is flexion. As the descent increases, flexion also will increase. Because of the contraction and retraction, the fetal axis pressure is more forcefully transmitted to the fetal occiput than the sinciput. Occiput is this part. Sinciput is referred as forehead. Okay, so the fetal spine is directly attached near to the posterior part of the occipital bone. So because of the contraction and retraction of the uterine muscles, the fetal axis pressure is more forcefully transmitted to the fetal occiput. That leads to flexion. Okay, so with a greater flexion, the diameter also will change. Initially, the suboccipitofrontal diameter, which is around 10 cm, will be the presenting diameter. With a greater flexion, the suboccipitopragmatic, which is around 9.5 cm, will become the presenting diameter, and that will negotiate the pelvis more easily. Okay. Third one is internal rotation of the head. So in the well flexed vertex presentation, the occiput becomes the leading part and it will touch the resistance of the pelvic floor and rotates anteriorly. Okay, and rotates anteriorly until it comes under the symphysis pubis. So now you can see the head and body are not in a similar alignment. So because of the internal rotation of the head, the twist is caused in the neck of the baby. Okay, so now the body and head are not in a similar alignment, and the anterior-posterior diameter of the fetal head lies in the largest anterior-posterior diameter of the pelvic outlet. Okay, so after this the crowning occurs. Crowning is appearance of the fetal presenting part at the vulval orifice. Even when there are no contraction, the head should not recede back. Then only it is called as crowning. Okay, the occipital, suboccipital region comes under the pubic arch. Okay, then the head is visible. Okay, then with the furthermore contractions, the occiput sleeps beneath the pubic arch, the sinciput, face and chin sweeps the perineum, and head is borne by a moment of extension. Okay, so once the head is extended, it rotates towards the side from which it was started during the internal rotation. Okay, so that is called as restitution. Restitution occurs after the extension of the head. Okay, so what is restitution? The slight twisting moment which is caused during the internal rotation of the head is now going to be corrected by a slight untwisting moment by turning towards the maternal side towards which it was started. Okay, so now we can see the head and body are in a similar alignment. Okay, so with the further more contractions and retraction, what will happen? Further descent occurs, the anterior shoulder becomes the leading part and it will touch the resistance of the pelvic floor and rotates anteriorly until it comes under the symphysis pubis. Okay, so the anterior shoulder comes under the symphysis pubis, posterior shoulder sweeps the perineum and whole of the body is borne by a movement of lateral flexion. That's it.